There you go. Okay. Hello and welcome to the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley. Each week we bring to you a new program on education, innovation, technology, and humanitarian services. I am the president of this club, and today I am very excited to have our guest speaker, Marilyn, who was invited by Yvonne to talk about her RYLA experience from a couple weeks ago. But first, before we dive into our program today, I am going to introduce the members on this call. So below me, as I see the screen, we have Mitty Chang, our past president. And then to his left, we have Yvonne, who is our current director, and also the person responsible for bringing in our speaker this week. And now I'm just going to have Yvonne introduce her guest, and then we'll let Marilyn take over.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephen. So Marilyn actually is the co-president of the KIPP Interact High School KIPP Interact High School Club that we sponsor. So it is such a treasure to actually have her speak to us and actually see her face, because we've thrown her name around quite a bit, but it'll be nice to actually hear about her RYLA experiences. And a little bit about Marilyn. She is an upcoming junior at KIPP San Jose Collegiate. She's been a part of KIPP since she was in 5th grade, and she joined Interact when she was a freshman in high school. And throughout these few years, she's been able to help develop her school's Interact Club, as well as get involved within her area outside of just her school club. As a sophomore, she was given the opportunity to attend POWER, which is President's Winter Retreat, and just recently, RYLA. And as for her junior year, she's going to be serving as the co-president of the KIPP San Jose Collegiate Interact Club. And without further ado, Marilyn is going to share with us her RYLA experience. Take it away, Marilyn.
Okay. Hi, I'm Marilyn, and when it comes to RYLA, I don't really know where to start because I only had POWER to relate it to, since Interact was new to school when I first came to school. So it's basically I've been with it since the start. But for RYLA, I think it's the people that made the experience for me, because I went to POWER too, which was really impactful for me, because I learned who I was as a leader and just how to reach out to people. But at RYLA, I had the opportunity to bond with people over time, which was a lot better for me, because it takes me a while to get to know people and open myself up. And RYLA was something that allowed me to do that. And I think that the things I learned there wouldn't be the same if it weren't the people who I was with, because they really encouraged me to be myself, and it was a really judgment-free place. So I felt a lot more comfortable opening up, since it was over a span of a long time. And I think the one workshop that really stood out to me and really related to me the most was the different leadership workshops, where you saw which leadership you were with the different ribbons, because I was categorized as an analyst, which I really think resonates with me, because I overthink a lot and I like to have things a specific way. So when things aren't ship shape, I get kind of crazy. And I love how I'm a real perfectionist, so it's I saw the things I needed to work on, and I saw the things that actually I do a lot. So it was nice to see the different types of leaders, so I know who I could work with, and who I need to reach out to more, and what I need to work on when I'm in a group. So it's that was the one leadership, or the one module that really resonated with me, and it's something that stuck with me a lot, because it's hard for me to admit that I'm kind of a control freak. And so seeing how other people work was really helpful for me. And even within my own cabin, we all had different leadership types, and you could kind of see that within the cabin. So that was pretty cool. And I also liked how I got time to bond with my family, because at POWER we did a lot of bonding activities, but at RYLA we got to speak more one-on-one with each other. And I think that's a lot more helpful for me, because I get really nervous when I talk to a big group of people. So just having that opportunity to speak one-on-one with people who won't judge me and stuff like that is really helpful for me. And that's something is really different for me, because I come from a school where I basically know everyone, and it's kind of hard to stray away from the different expectations and the different labels they have on you. So it's when I go to RYLA, it's a chance for me to just be me and not do anything that other people expect me to do. So it's a really genuine experience I get to get. And I don't it's really hard for me to speak about it because I've been going to school with the same people for like 7 years. So it's like, it's a nice, like, eye-opening experience for me because I just was able to be myself. And that's like something I don't really get to do. And also I have like a lot of siblings, so it's like, it's hard to like be myself. And then at RYLA, it's like I got to meet all these other people who are kind of just like me and like want to like see a difference, you know what I mean? And then like, I don't know, it's just hard for me to talk about it because I get like so emotional about it. But like, it's just something that I wasn't able to experience at Power as much because it was only like 2 days, and it's harder for me to like open myself up to people. And having RYLA as like a 5-day experience was something that really pushed me to be myself. And it's like, now that I think about it, I don't really know how it's going to impact me, and I really do hope it's going to like impact me not just within Interact Club but outside in my school community as well, because I know there's a lot of people who feel the same way as I do, like they can't be themselves. And I think at RYLA it was really something that pushed me to be myself. So I think that's like one of the biggest thing I took away from RYLA. And when I think about RYLA, it is the people that made it for me, because I could learn all these things about being myself and like how to be a leader and who I am as a leader. But like seeing other people like be themselves really pushed me to be myself too. Like I could always learn how to be a leader at other places, but seeing everyone like bond together and just support each other like that is something that I don't think I'll be able to experience again. So that was like one of the biggest takeaways from RYLA for me.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, talking about that, do you think RYLA helps you in a sense become more yourself outside of RYLA? Because I know in RYLA it's like very supportive. Everyone's just encouraging you to be yourself. How do you think that resonates with you when it comes to being more yourself outside of RYLA?
Oh, at RYLA, I can honestly say, like the first day I was so nervous. Like, you know how like we had to like get picked up at the bus station, like the high school parking lot,
Yeah.
and we had to do like icebreakers and everything. And then Minnie started the Sally Walker game, or that icebreaker. I got so nervous because like I hate dancing in front of people.
Yeah.
And I knew like some familiar faces from like my area and like some people from Power. And then someone went up to me, they danced in front of me, and I got so nervous because you had to like do it back. And I was like, oh my God, this is not happening right now.
Yeah.
And then, that happened a few times, and I constantly said I was like super nervous. I mean, I did it anyways, but like I just don't like dancing in front of people. And when we got there, they started like dance parties like every time we like got together, and I was like, this is really awkward.
Yeah,
And then
for sure.
I think honestly, as like the day progressed and we had like multiple within the first day, I started to feel more comfortable. But it was like nearing the end of the first day where I actually was like, okay, it's okay because everybody's doing the same thing. So it's like no one's even paying attention to like what I do, so might as well.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like really good because I know if I was at my school, I wouldn't do anything. So it's like at RYLA, I saw everybody doing the same thing. So it's like they didn't really care. I mean, there were some people who I saw were like just like, like there, but like not like fully dancing.
Yeah.
But I was like, I mean, like it's only 5 days, so might as well like make the most of it. So like just seeing other people do it, I did it too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, so like with RYLA, it's since everyone knows each other, right? That's the thing. It's like I feel like personally, it's just even from my experience, just at work and everything, it's you do things that's uncomfortable, so you're always constantly worried about what other people think, right?
Yeah.
So then you end up not going out to network, or you end up not dancing in front of people for one. So I think that definitely does help people in a sense that gets you out of the comfort zone, so that in the future when you're outside with people that you don't know, you've experienced it once already, you felt that uncomfortableness, you get used to it, and then I think it's gonna help you a lot in the future.
Yeah.
So what's the most uncomfortable thing they made you do at RYLA?
Oh, the one thing that I think of the most is the improv module where you had to like partner up with someone, and then you have like a scenario, and then you have to like act it out in front of like everyone. You had to come up with the story in like 3 minutes. You had to act it out in front of everyone. That was like really nerve-wracking for me because there's a lot of people.
What about Yvonne? I remember you were a counselor at RYLA, right?
Yeah, so Mitty and I actually had the honor of being camp counselors. But before I go into that, I'm actually going to take an opportunity to explain what RYLA is, because I realize we'll have some new Rotarians and maybe some guests who are watching, so they're like, what is RYLA? It sounds like a cult. So RYLA is an acronym. It stands for Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, and it is a leadership camp, a 5-day leadership camp for high schoolers. They don't necessarily have to be interactors, but they often are because it is a Rotary scholarship. Excuse me, but it's a leadership camp, but it's also, as you can tell from Marilyns Experience, it's so much more than just a leadership camp. And the staff of RYLA will never ever divulge everything that ever happens to you and how they make it happen, because they kind of want to preserve the magic of RYLA, and they want to preserve the surprise element. So we try to keep some hidden secrets among the camp, but you can tell that the ultimate goal is to help foster leaders and to help leaders come out of their shell, to accept who they are, to know who they are, and to lead with confidence. And we do that through various leadership modules, like the one Marilyn was explaining, figuring out like what type of leader you are. And we also do that through like funding. So they're also part of these activity workshops. So they could be part of like band and chorus, they could do like a service workshop, or they could do like an entertainment workshop where they actually put on a show in front of the entire camp. And I think each year there are about 200 campers. So they're split off into families, which is what Marilyn was kind of talking about earlier. So all 200 campers aren't kind of like put together in one giant group all the time. We split them off so that they can have those more intimate moments where they get to know each other and they get to know their counselors as well. But yeah, I was a camper back in 2007. So coming back after a decade was kind of a blast. And I feel really blessed to have been able to do that.
Awesome. Well, we definitely should have started with the explanation of RYLA, but it's okay, because after you watch this, you can just scroll back like 5-10 minutes and then that way you'll probably understand a little bit better. But I did want to take the chance to ask you, how, just for the people who are new, right? For people that hasn't heard of RYLA before, so how do these campers get to go? I mean, I remember that our club was doing some kind of a funding for a kid too, right?
Yep, so there is a cost to it, but usually Rotary clubs sponsor it because it is technically like an award, like a scholarship for high schoolers. And the RYLA chairs designate how many spots each Rotary club can get, and that's different depending on how many Interact clubs you sponsor. So this year we were able to sponsor Marilyn. We had one spot, mainly because of budget concerns. It's not cheap to send people to RYLA. So we're trying to send 2 for next year. That is our goal, but we'll figure that out along the way.
For sure.
But it's the Rotary Club selects them, and every Rotary Club's a little bit different. Some Rotary Clubs do like an interview process where if you want to go to RYLA, you have to send an application and like do an interview. And other Rotary Clubs like us, we kind of leave it in the hands of the interactors. And usually send like the incoming officers. So Marilyn is the incoming co-president, so that's why she was selected to go.
Wow! Congratulations, Marilyn. That's awesome, man. So so the maximum people was like what, 200 people, or? Yeah,
that's the max for the camp.
I see.
So they delegate out, or they allocate the numbers out to the various Rotary clubs.
Oh wow, that's 200 people out of 1,000. That's amazing. Definitely, that's congratulations right there. Man, so I mean, let's say they want to go back. Can they go back as counselors, or what happens after that?
Yep. So you can't be a camper again. You can only be a camper once. But if you would like to return as a counselor, you are more than welcome to do that.
Awesome. Would you, Marilyn? Would you like to be a counselor in the future?
I'm not sure. I feel like I would. I'm not sure what I want to do yet. But It seems like a really cool thing I would want to do.
So I guess you want to give us a little idea on what the counselors do, right? So besides day-to-day operations for the camp.
For us, it's mostly day-to-day operations because the camp is actually planned by a core group called the support staff. And that's made up of about like six or 7 people who plan the camp year-round, pretty much. Like 9 out of the 12 months, they think about planning like the modules, they plan like everything that's going to happen. And we as counselors kind of come in a couple of days before and just kind of do the last minute prepping things. And our main focus is just like on our own families and our own cabins and taking care of like the things that we're part of. and working in conjunction with the other counselors who are also with us. So we don't really have a hand in planning the programming per se, but we're kind of like the hands on deck that help to make it happen.
Very cool. Are there any other questions that you'd like to ask Marilyn as a counselor? And Marilyn has like to ask Yvonne as a camper.
I'm wondering, how do you think you've changed from day 1 to day 5? Like, if you looked at yourself from day 1 and then to day 5, be like, wow, what is the biggest thing that's changed?
Day 1, when I first met, like, you know, like the little, like the girl groups, like within your own cabins, it was really awkward because no one really like talked to each other. And I honestly am really awkward when I don't know people. So like, there was just like weird, like, when we got back into the cafe, I was like, we were like, oh, are you gonna use that? Are you gonna like use that section? Like, there's just no communication. It was just like awkward, like dead silence. So from day 1, I was like really shy and I didn't really want to like talk to anyone. Like, I kind of waited for them to like say something first. I mean, I would introduce themselves and then that'd be it. And there would be like no follow-up question. But on day 5, for my cabin at least, we were like super close and we'd stay up really late, and like we didn't really have to ask each other what we thought because we kind of already could guess what each other thought, and we just got a lot closer. And on day 5, I like started talking to more people compared to day 1, so it's like I was just a lot more open, and I didn't really care what people thought about me at that point. On day 1, I was really like.
That's awesome. What advice would you give to next year's RYLA camper that we are going to send to RYLA?
Don't expect anything. Like, honestly, I came in with like no expectations because I honestly didn't know how it was going to be split up. I can only like base off of power, and honestly, I got more than what I like thought I would get out of, so like I wouldn't want to give like away too much.
Nice. So I have one final question for you. Do you think you'd probably be more open now in the future with outside of RYLA?
Yeah.
I was telling you about like how my experience, right, with when I first started, you know, just working or going to colleges, I was very shy too. I'm very analytical as well, right?
Yeah.
All this is because of years of training, so then I get out of my comfort zone. But the same concept, I'm totally relatable, and then that's what I'm saying. Do you think you'd be more open outside now just because of RYLA?
I think I'll still be shy at the beginning, but I'll be like open faster. Like, it's a faster like process, but I'll still be like a little bit awkward at first, but I think Ryan helped me like speed up the process.
For sure. I always tell myself, you know, your mind is your greatest enemy, right? So what you think other people think of you is probably not what they're thinking of you. So just go out and just do it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, final thoughts. Any questions for Yvonne as a counselor?
How much time did you plan, like, how much time did it take to like plan out like the little activities you did within your cabin, or like how much?
So every counselor is a little bit different. Some plan it out quite like meticulously. For our cabin personally, we kind of did it on the fly. Just like thinking of our past experiences and like what we've done in small group settings, and we would just kind of bounce ideas back and forth between me and my co-counselor, like, oh, should we do this, should we do that? And this would usually happen like at dinner time, so we would just talk, and then that night we would do it. So it's kind of like day by day, you just kind of take it.
Is there like a really big difference between being a counselor and a camper? Or would you say
the experience is probably different for sure, because as a camper you're experiencing everything the first time, and as a counselor you're experiencing it again, but you're not experiencing it as a camper because you're looking at it more of a kind of like a caretaker point of view, because your responsibility now isn't just to be there and be in the moment, it's to be there and make sure your people are safe. So it does shift the perspective a little bit, but you're still kind of there, kind of feeling it out, like experiencing it again, but definitely not in the same way. It's definitely not being like a camper again when you're a counselor.
Perfect.
Cool. Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Yvonne, for being a counselor, and thank you for having us introduce Marilyn. And thank you, Marilyn, for being a speaker for our club today.
Thank you guys for sponsoring me, sending me to RYLA.
Perfect. Well, I guess any final words before we end today? I'd just like everyone on this call to know that if you haven't done so already, please go onto the bottom and leave a comment. And if you have any questions for Marilyn, feel free to put it in the comment section, and we will reach out to Marilyn to make sure she gets the comments so that she can answer some of your questions. Until then, we'll see you next week, and hope you have a great weekend. Take care.